predictions, but I thought it would be cooler to just rank or put all of the teams into a tier list based on their nicknames. Some of them are cool, some of them absolutely suck, in my personal opinion. They don't sound cool, or they don't have much history behind it, or they're very straightforward, which I don't like personally. So we're gonna rank it. And I like a good team with a good nickname because it like connects to the community and history and sounds cool and whatever. So one thing though, this is gonna be extremely subjective because it's based on what I find interesting or cool. And second is I have not scripted this video; it's completely off the top of my head. I of course know the nicknames of all teams, but I know many of them have like multiple different nicknames and they all have their own history, and sometimes it's debated which history is the real reason behind why a nickname is in place. So if I say something incorrect or upsetting to you, just let me know in the comments. Very open to criticism. But yeah, without further to say, let's just dive straight into it. So first we got Arsenal, and their nickname is the Gunners, or the other word that I don't want to say right now. uh, when I was younger, I thought it was really cool, but as I'm growing up, it's starting to sound more and more like, oh yeah, like a 9-year-old kid would think this is cool. Oh yeah, the gunners, the guns, the fucking artillery on the logo. And I know it's very based on history and the roots of the team. It was founded by factory workers that were producing artillery, so it's very connected to history and the community they were initially from, which was not North London. They switched to North London later on. I so for that reason I like it, but then there are the factors of, yeah, some people call them by the other nickname, and I guess it's the modern story of everyone just hating on Arsenal and making fun of them, so it kind of lost its coolness, and it also feels very much like this is something that a kid would think is cool, but to me personally, it just doesn't sound that menacing anymore. But it's still a decent nickname, and I like the fact of how it's like really rooted in history. So for that reason, I'm not gonna put them in a low tier. Um, I'm feeling like a B for it personally. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, Aston Villa. From what I know, they have two nicknames. I heard them being referred to as the Lions, but very rarely. Usually, I just hear the Villains, which doesn't have much of a history on its own. It's connected to the Villa part, so Villa people, villains. But it sounds cool because it also sounds like villains, so it has some coolness to it. I guess it's like again some one of those things like a younger person would think it's cooler, I guess. But I still think it sounds pretty nice. But since it's not really very historic, I don't want to put them in a very high tier. Maybe for now I'll put them in A tier, but this could be switched up later on in the video. It sounds cool. It sounds very cool. Villains, and it's kind of unique, and it's connected to their name, but not very historic. Yeah, you know what? I just convinced myself it's B tier at best. Anyway, moving on to the next one, which is Bournemouth. Their nickname is the Cherries, which doesn't sound super cool, maybe, but I like the fact that it might be very rooted in history. So, from what I found online over my years of researching football, is there are two main stories. One is that usually they had, or yet they used to have like this cherry trees or cherry orchards, I think they're called, surrounding their ground. Um, so if that story is true, that's way cooler. But I've heard also that this is just a story that was made up, and in reality, it's just because they wear red T-shirts. I will choose to believe the story is true, cause it just sounds better to me. But again, I think I'm not feeling very good about this. The cherries, like it could be just because they wear red, which is be honest to me cooler than being called straight up the Reds. I don't like when it's just a color as a nickname. Uh, I don't know where to put them. Maybe I'll put them in A for now, cause of the story because I like imagining it like an old football club and they had cherry trees all around them, so they were nicknamed the Cherries. Sounds cool. Uh, or otherwise, I would have to. Okay, let's put them in B for now. The Seagulls for Brighton. It's just connected to the fact that they are a seaside. Brighton is on the shore, seaside, and there are a lot of seagulls around. Uh, yeah, that's all. I heard there's also a story that like Crystal Palace fans were visiting and they were like singing their song about the eagles and they just responded with seagulls and that's how it was born. I don't like this personally. I also think seagulls are fucking weird as an animal. I'm gonna put them in C. So Brentford with the bees. I heard the story behind it is just because like the fans were calling themselves the letter B, because Brentford and the B eventually became bees, and they put the bee animal drawing on their logo and whatever. I don't like this at all. Nah, I'm putting it in D tier. Chelsea, the Blues. I don't like it. I know there is the other nickname, the Pensioners, which the story behind that is cool, but still it's like just the pensioners. And for most of the people who don't know the story behind that, it sucks. And regarding the nickname Blues, as I said already, I don't like when it's just the name of the or the color of the T-shirt being taken as a nickname. I don't like it. So Chelsea goes in D tier for me. So Coventry, their nickname is the Sky Blues, which refers again to the color of their T-shirt. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I know with these teams, by the way, there's always a historic reason for why they were that specific color. But after that, when you choose to just be called the color as your nickname, it's kind of. It's not so cool for me personally. So I'm gonna put Coventry in D tier as well, and I'm gonna put Liverpool next to them because they are called the Reds, and I know Liverpool is a very historic team, one of the proud organizations of English Football Association, and I have huge respect for them as a team and an organization. But the nickname sucks, bro. I'm sorry. Uh, yeah, so far I haven't really put any of them high. Crystal Palace is interesting to me because the Eagles sounds cool, but like it's again one of those things. They had another nickname, which was connected to the fact that the team was heavily connected or founded by people who were tradesmen of glass, and I like that. I like when a team is founded by by people of a specific trade, and they get to have their own nickname and their history and club crest based on it. And then it's the fact that they were renamed to the Eagles and they had the eagle put on their logo because their like president or someone was inspired by Benfica because back then it was like one of the prestigious teams of Europe. Like, why would you give up all that history for that? But it sounds cool, so I'm not gonna deter them. I'm gonna put them in C tier. Everton. I love Everton's nickname, the Toffees. I also like the Toffees themselves, and it's uh, connected to the part of Liverpool where Everton is based, where they had like the local sweet was the toffees, and they had many people who were selling toffees, and they would throw them on the ground, and it's like very historic, and it sounds cool too, to be honest. And I like when it's something like very specific to that area. I love Everton's nickname, and I love toffees, so I'm gonna, I think, S tier them personally. I just like it. Fulham, the cottagers. Turns out there's an actual cottage built into their stadium, which is cool, and not much beside that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna C tier them, to be honest. Hull City, the Tigers. Yeah, it's cool, but what the fuck do Tigers have to do with the city? It's just because I think it was just that their colors match the Tigers' color, so it's a little better than just having a straight up color as your nickname. So I'm gonna C tier them, I think. Leeds United, the Whites, yeah, D tier. The Red Devils are for Manchester United. Pretty cool, I would say. It sounds cool. It's again one of those things like it sounded way cooler when I was younger, like in the case of Arsenal or the Villains. When I was younger, it sounded way cooler. I just feel like it's way more iconic than the other ones. Could be because of like way bigger history that Manchester United has compared to some of the other teams with similar nicknames that are like sounded cooler when I was younger. I know they had another nickname initially, and they borrowed from a local rugby team the name Red Devils, but it's like still connected to the local culture, local whatever, and yeah, it just sounds more menacing. It's cooler than the other nicknames in the similar category simply because they actually like stood their ground and they are one of the elite teams based on history. I know they've struggled in the last decade, but you get what I mean. So I think I'm gonna A tier them. Yeah, Manchester City. I don't like the nickname Citizens to be honest, because it's literally just because it's Manchester City and they switch city to Citizens. I guess it would be cooler if like they were like the only club with the name City in the name, with the word City in the name, but they're not, so it's not really even that unique. The only unique thing about Manchester City specifically is that they chose to take that and transform it into an actual word with a pun in it. It's like Aston Villa, kind of Villa villains, City citizens. But I don't know. It doesn't sound that cool, and I just feel like they could have done better. So I don't know what to do with them, to be honest. I think I'll C tier them because it's not horrible. Citizens has a ring to it, but yeah. Newcastle United, they have two nicknames. They have the Toons and the Magpies, and it's based on the fact that like the bird magpie is also black and white, so their kit kind of matches it. I'm realizing now I'm a little inconsistent with the gradings, but it's like you also have to understand there's this like intangible thing called like how much of a ring the nickname has to it, how cool it sounds, and that part is very subjective. So while I know, for example, uh, like Hull City calling themselves the Tigers because their kit colors match the Tigers, as opposed to Newcastle United calling themselves the Magpies because black and white matches the colors of the magpie. I'm not gonna put them in the same tier just simply because it's the same category in that sense. It's just that I think Newcastle's Magpie sounds cooler, and they also have the Toons, which is basically it means town, but like it's their local dialect. They would pronounce it more like a tune. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it fully accurately, but you get the point. And their supporters have a following name, which is the Toon Army. That sounds cool. It has a ring to it. I think I'm gonna S tier them. I like it. Nottingham Forest, the Reds. I'm gonna D tier them. Uh, I know they have like some connections to the Italian revolutionary person. I don't know much about the history, so I should have researched that more before making that. But it could be C or B tier, but yeah, I'm just gonna D tier them from now. And also, to be honest, every single time I watch the Premier League where Nottingham Forest plays, they're always referred to as the Reds. So even if there is this other historic nickname, it's not really something you hear that often, or at least I haven't. Next, we got Sunderland, the Black Cats. Uh, One thing I didn't know is that it became the official nickname pretty late, but it has very historic links. Uh, they had a mascot, which was a black cat, in the early 1900s, and there is like some history of like a black cat who was associated with a crime in the area, something like that. I don't know much about it. Just the fact that even if it's just a black cat, but they were sticking to it for more than a century. It sounds cool. It's not very direct and on the nose, and sounds cool. The Black Cats, it's a cool nickname. I'm gonna A tier them personally. Tottenham Hotspur. Their nickname, they have two. One is Spurs and the second one is Lily-Whites. I like Spurs. It kind of sounds cool. It has a ring to it. It's like Hotspur and Spurs, and it is kind of connected to, like, it's not just a shortened version of Hotspur. It has like a history behind why they're called Hotspur, and then followingly, when you know that history, it being shortened to Spurs also makes sense. And their second nickname is the Lily-Whites, which refers to their kids being white historically. Um, it's not the best, but I prefer it way more than just having them being called the Whites or something. Both of those nicknames I like, but I don't think they're elite. I'm gonna B tier them personally. It could be like this A B, but yeah, B tier sounds more fitting. And lastly, we got Ipswich, their nickname being the Tractor Boys, and I absolutely love it, especially because when you know the history, it's like, so Ipswich is based in this historically farmland area, and still to this day is, and because of that, the away fans would call them the Tractor Boys as an insult, but they took it, the nickname, and started calling themselves that as like a show of pride. Like they're proud that they are farmers, and they're proud about what they do, and it shows connection to historically what was their trade and what they were known for. So I absolutely love it, and I'm gonna S tier them personally. So with all of that done, let me know what you think, which nicknames you like. Just feel free to comment down below. Feel free to rage at me for putting your favorite team